My name is Jesse Kindig. This is my Module 10 presentation for EDL 854. I'm going to start off with talking about the gifts to students. There are two major types according to the book, fundraising incentives and special achievement gifts. The big thing to think about when you're thinking about gifts to students is the only appropriate gifts for students that are paid for with activity funds are incentives for fundraising events or as awards for special achievements. You don't want to use this money to encourage other things that were not part of this fundraising. Part of the fundraising incentives are for students meeting specific criteria. In elementary right now, that's a big thing for us. We have lots of fundraising, and so we have fundraising incentives for those kids, but those come from the funds from the fundraiser. So, and just like in B, paid for with fundraising profit. And then there's also special achievement gifts, honor roll, we have community gifts, we have a lot of things like that. And these are designed for specific students in specific groups, and they're paid for with a general fund, but that general fund is, a portion of it is designed for special achievement gifts. Fundraising incentives. These gifts should only be given to the students who participated in that fundraising event. I think a lot of times we try to include everyone, especially in the elementary setting, and it's important that if they did not take part in it, they can't receive funds or gifts from that fundraiser. I think that's fair. Gifts need to be age appropriate and does not affect the overall profit of the fundraising event. I think that's important. You're not, we have a fundraising event right now in my school to build a playground. Our goal is $25,000. We're not trying to hand out $1,000, $2,000 worth of gifts. That would kind of defeat the purpose. We wouldn't meet our goal. Only use funds to pay for incentive gifts from the account or the activity hosting the fundraising event. So same thing, you need to basically count out awards and gifts that you spent, so minus that from the total overall income. And so again, that goes back to keeping your gifts appropriate and making sure you're not spending too much on gifts. It's a special achievement gifts. Many times schools host events to honor students' specific achievements. These can be through athletics and clubs, excuse me. You see that more in the high school, middle school area. Anytime someone makes honor roll with sports, anytime someone makes all conference or awards and they get certificates or medals or things like that, that's kind of the special achievement gifts. Gifts should be relevant to the achievement. So you're not trying to hand out a gift certificate for, $100 to Walmart for someone who made all conference. That doesn't make any sense. All gifts to be priced fairly. I don't think there should be a higher award for athletics than for academics or vice versa. They should all be appropriate and fair. Fundraising for these awards need to come from a general fund or through donations from the community or specific athletic fund. In our high school, each athletic and each club and each activity pays for their own awards. So that comes from their own fundraising. So then it's on them. They can decide how much they want to spend or how little they want to spend. So the teams that don't fundraise very well, they don't have as great a gifts, I would say, or awards, however you want to put it. Okay, on to gifts to staff members. This is the kind of the important thing I took from the chapter. All gifts given to staff members should be given by a committee rather than an individual. This will help avoid questions about favoritism and funding for gifts. So, keep that in mind as we're going through gifts. So there's 3 different types here. All staff gifts. Those are designed to be given to every staff member, not a selected bunch. They're paid by staff vending, fundraising, and PTA funds, something that's funds that are brought in by the staff. And that looks like school shirts, school products, bake sales, things like that. Fundraising incentives, again, that's happening right now in our school for staff members who meet specific requirements, paid for by school fundraising events, and a gift certificate for a restaurant or a store is an appropriate piece for that. Special achievement gifts is the last one for specific staff members, paid for by staff remembrance funds. Examples are like baby showers or birthdays or things like that. Okay. So all staff gifts must be given to all staff members. That's I know it seems redundant, but it needs to happen. If the staff generates the funds, then it is appropriate to use those funds to benefit the staff. So again, if you raise it, it's your money, feel free to go back and put it towards the staff. Funding for gift must come from an account that has been designed from staff income sources, vending machine, PTO funds, bake sales, things like that. Cash or money should not be given to staff members unless it is added to their W-2. So an appropriate gift would not be like, hey, you did a nice job this week. I'm giving everybody $20 under the table. No, if cash is getting given, it needs to be documented. It needs to be taxed. Fundraising incentives gift. So right now in my school, we're doing a fundraiser, like I said, for a playground. Ahead of time, you understand what the gifts are for staff members. So if I had like 50% participation, I got $50 off towards that company that we use through fundraising. So I can go back through them and buy $50 worth of free gifts. If you came in first in your class, you got like the school gave like a pizza party, you got $100 towards the company, and you got your name in like a newspaper. So those fundraising events need to all come from that fund. If the staff member participates in the fundraising event, then the gift from that fund to the staff member is appropriate. If staff members don't take part in it, you can't use funds to gift that person. All gifts should be deducted from the overall income from the fundraiser. So I found out the other day that they had set aside about $500 total gifts for all staff members and students based off this fundraiser, which they thought was more than appropriate and more than enough to incentivize kids to get them going. Therefore, all gifts should be reasonable cost. So for teachers, I thought that was more than reasonable. For students, they just love the little things, so it wasn't very expensive. I think the biggest prize for like $1,000 worth of gifts was a bike. So. Special occasion gifts must be purchased through a specific fund that is created by staff members. Annual dues, fees, things like that. We have one right now that's like for certified it's $25, and uncertified is like $15, something like that. So all of our special occasions come from that fund. Staff account should be managed by a committee, which it is, and written procedures should rotate members. So that takes part in our school. We rotate members every 3 years. So. No student funds should be used for this purpose. If they're not, it should be its own separate account, and all gifts should be appropriately priced. So, like birthday gifts, you shouldn't be handing out, $250, $300 gift cards during birthdays because that's unreasonable. Overall, here are the major themes that I took from Chapter 10. All gifts should be purchased through specific funds and accounts, all separate. No gifts should be purchased with funds that were not raised for that specific purpose. Gifts should not be given to staff or students that did not take part in the specific event. All gifts should be reasonably priced and appropriate. And I think this is the biggest one I've learned throughout the book and throughout the class is, above all, we must remember that these funds are not our own and should not be treated as if this was our money. Use funds appropriately and correctly at all times. Lastly, here's my works cited page. The only works cited page I have is for our book, which I found very helpful. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.